What's up, you guys? Scott here. So in today's video, let me talk about something very interesting. So to really understand this, let me set the stage for this phenomenon that's probably going to happen to you at some stage in your therapy or coaching business, or may have happened to you in the past. So let's say you're doing a strategy call. At the end of the strategy call, this potential client, therapy or coaching client, says yes, and you get ready to take the payment, and they tell you something like this: I'll pay you in the next 24 hours. Can you send me an invoice or a link for PayPal, and I'll pay, when I get home from work. I'll pay tomorrow once I've transferred the money. I'll get back to you. So this phenomena, guys, if you haven't experienced this at some point in your career, I guarantee you will. So what I want to talk about is, how do you avoid this? Because realistically, in that scenario, anytime your client is saying, I'll pay you, send me an invoice, send me a link, the chances of them actually taking action and paying is very, very slim. So in this quick video, it's not going to be much to teach. I just want to show you something you can do as far as your strategy call system to make sure clients are paying you at the end of the strategy call, not later on, not tomorrow, not 12 hours from now, but immediately, so they're ready to buy. So guys, let's dive in. So what's going on here? Why does it seem like you could do the best strategy call, ask the right question, get your client motivated to pay, and even though you know they could pay right now, they still resist your offer? So I realized very early on in my career something interesting about working with people, especially people that want to break some sort of habit or overcome their pain. There's something happens in people where just taking the step to go from pain to pleasure is a big deal for people. Now, we could say it's like an identity thing, it's a secondary gain thing, you can call it whatever you want. But the real point here is sometimes making that switch, guys, from a client being an absolute pain to pleasure is a big step. Now, the whole idea behind the strategy call is to get them to a place where there's some sort of pain, offer the solution, and basically present your offer and what you do in a way where clients see you as you're the only person that can bridge that gap for them, to take them from where they are now to where they want to be. But like I said, taking that first step is usually the biggest thing, someone committing to some sort of therapy or change work. So with the strategy call, like I said, the idea is to really keep the pressure on, because it's very easy for people to go back to default. Now, it seems quite strange that if someone's in pain, why wouldn't they want to solve this? Now, I'm here to tell you, it's nothing that you've done, guys, as long as you've nailed the strategy call. But again, with a strategy call as well, there's a lot of therapists and coaches that don't want to put pressure on their clients. And I'm here to say that pressure is important, because that default mechanism, it's very systemized inside your client's mind. It's something they've fallen back on many, many times before. So if you don't, as a therapist or a coach, put the right amount of pressure, now, as long as you know you can help this person, I'm not saying sell them something you can't do, but it's in their best interest and also yours as a business owner to keep the pressure on. So like I said, we've got the strategy call timeline there, which we want to keep the pressure on. Essentially, you don't want to allow your client to leave the phone call unless they've paid. So I'll show you how we actually do this. So we've got this client, they're in a lot of pain, and they want to go from pain towards pleasure. That's what the strategy call does. So what we're doing on the phone call, and this is basically how I present it, it's not really a hard strategy, is I put myself in a position to tell my client that if you want to book me, it has to be done at the end of the strategy call. Now, clients are going to say to you, well, can you send me an invoice? Can you send me a PayPal link? Can you just send me some information and I'll pay this by the end of the day? And my answer to this is always no. I want to make sure that you're motivated on this call. So in the background, in the back of my head, what I'm thinking is I have to make sure that you take action now. Because as well, guys, think about it like this. If your client just backs out of even working with you, if you know they can afford it, this tells you a lot about their motivation going into the therapeutic process for you, with you. And they're probably not going to be the best client. So I let clients know that, no, you've got to pay on the end of the strategy call. Now, what you'd want to avoid is something like this, allowing your clients to go back to default. So if clients ask for an invoice, clients want a PayPal link, you have to tell them no. The best thing you guys can do, stop sending invoices, stop sending things like that. Now, I'll talk about what a proposal is in the moment. That's like a last-ditch effort. But ideally, you want to use a platform with something like Stripe. So Stripe allows you to take credit card details over the phone, which ideally is what you want to do. You want to talk to your client on the strategy call. In the strategy call, have your client say yes, and then you simply tell them, hey, what type of card do you want to use? Visa or MasterCard, you want to take that payment. 2 reasons. You're keeping the pressure on your clients so they make that first initial move, but also you're getting their motivation as far as payment into your business as well. So you've got to juggle 2 hats. You're a business owner, guys. You have to make money. So it's only then that I used to get my diary out. So I tell the client, okay, what card would you want to use, Visa or MasterCard? I'd input their details into Stripe. Stripe would pay me straight away. It means it's been deducted from their credit card. And then, and only then, do I tell them, okay, I'm going to get my diary out. Let's get you booked in for your first session. You don't want to have your clients paying on the first session. And I made this mistake very often where clients would turn up and what was their excuse? God, I forgot my wallet. I forgot to pay you. I'll pay you later on today. Let's just get the session done. And 9 times out of 10, this was just an excuse. And unfortunately, I had to actually work with a lot of clients who end up didn't pay me. They blocked me, they ghosted me, they never paid me. So I had to fix this issue straight away because I didn't want to continue down that road. So the only time, guys, you want to get your diary out and book your clients in is if they paid you on the strategy call. If a client says they're going to pay you 24 hours from now, you have to let them know if you're doing some sort of incentive-based price, guys, which you should be doing on your strategy call. Let them know, hey, I can only hold this for the next 24 hours. If you come back after 24 hours, the price goes up. And I'll talk about what that is in the proposal. But ideally, like I said, pay at the end of the strategy call and then you book out the diary. Your client does not pay you by card or by cash on the day. They have to commit, and that's the only time you're getting your diary out. So like I mentioned before, if a client wants an invoice, no, I don't send invoices. We've got to book you in today. If you want to get your spot in my diary to overcome smoking or anxiety, I've got to take full payment at the end of this call right now. That way I can book you in because I'm getting extremely busy. Like I said, if a client says, I'll pay you on the first session, no, it's got to be taken today. So the last ditch effort is really coming to proposal. Hopefully this is making sense. It's not a big process, guys, but it's just really the wording around this and the frame that you set. The proposal is an interesting thing. So let's say, for example, you talk to a client at 9 a.m. in the morning and they tell you, hey, I've got to speak to my husband at the end of the day. I'll get back to you by the end of the day. This is the only time where I'd actually send them some sort of information. So what we teach our 100K coaching program students, and I actually have created this for them, is a whole proposal system. And what the proposal does, it outlines all the information that you talked about on the strategy call, the incentive-based price, what they're going to get, what the outcome is, what your qualifications are, what your differentiation is, and a whole bunch of stuff. It's about a 3 or 4 page document full of information. And the whole idea behind the proposal, because we can't expect our client who has just talked to us for one time on a strategy call to remember all the intricate details of what we chatted about and then sell that to their husband or their wife. So you want to send a proposal, you want to have that ready to go, and you want to let people know, okay, talk to your husband tonight. I'm going to send you a proposal with everything we talked about today. It'll also have a link at the bottom that you can click on. So once you guys have made the decision, you can get booked in for yours straight away, like pay the amount that we talked about. I can get you booked in for your first session. Once I receive that payment, I'll contact you back and I'll get my diary and we'll book you in. But the whole idea behind the proposal, guys, have this proposal sent so the wife or the husband can have a look at it and understand everything. Because unfortunately, the client's really just going to walk away and say, hey, I spoke to Scott. He said he can help me quit smoking, but it's $1,500 because they're going to forget everything in between. I know what I'm talking about. I know my process. I know the results I'm going to get. I want to put that in a proposal. So a proposal really is a replication of what I would be doing if I spoke to the husband or the wife. Now, you also, like I said, want to let the client know. After 24 hours, I can only hold the incentive-based price for 24 hours. After that, you'll just have to pay in full. And I can't guarantee I can get you in my diary any quicker. So it's best off you just take care of the payment now. I can get my diary out and I'll let you pick the spot that you want because these spots fill very, very quickly. This is keeping the pressure on, guys. If at the end of the call, you don't like the whole pressure thing and the client says, okay, I'll get back to you. And you say, okay, that's fine. Let me know. I'm here to support you. I'm here for any questions that you've got. Just let me know how you feel. Contact me back. And you're being a bit blasé about it, you can expect that client to never get back to you. Keep the pressure on, guys. Okay? If you know your client can pay you and you know you can give them a great service, it's in your best interest, but also their best interest to push them enough, not force them, but push them enough coming from a place of care to let them know, hey, this is serious. I'm serious about this, but if you want to book me in, I'm an expert. You're not going to get this anywhere else. Let's take motivation now. I need to know that you're committed now. Let's take the payment now. Okay, guys? So at the end of the day, the real goal for this is you want to take payment at the end of every strategy call, not on the first session, not via invoice. You can send the proposal as a last ditch effort, but realize, guys, as soon as you let your client off the hook, let the pressure off and they hang up on you, or, you end the call and you both hang up and they say, I'll get back to you. You don't want to spend the rest of your business waiting for this person to come back to you, looking at your email every 5 minutes, waiting for that PayPal notification, because that's just absolute hell. What I would rather do is if a client says, look, Scott, I'll get back to you in about 24 hours. I just want to have a think about it. I used to let clients know, like, hey, just tell me yes or no. If you're unsure this is for you, just tell me no. Or if you know you're going to make a decision later, just make it now. Because I don't want to wait, guys. I don't like that limbo. And as a matter of fact, when I actually used to say this to my clients sometimes will come out and say, you know what, Scott, you're right. This isn't for me. And I'm actually glad they let me know. There's no hard feelings. It's not for everybody. And I tell them this. I'm glad you let me know because now I can fill your spot up with somebody else. We don't have to stay in this limbo. Appreciate your time. Hope you enjoyed the strategy call. That's usually how I ended it. But sometimes as well, when I offered this as sort of saying like, either just tell me yes or no, the client will say, well, you know what, I'm probably going to make a decision later anyways. A yes, I may as well take care of it now. This extra pressure goes a long way for building confidence in yourself, guys, but being able to handle these sales calls and these strategy calls. Sales as a therapist or a coach is 90 to 95% of what you do. If you don't want to be a full-time salesperson, a full-time marketer, a full-time accountant, a full-time systems builder, you're never going to survive in this industry. I have a lot of people that tell me, Scott, I don't want to do the sales. I don't want to do the marketing. I don't want to do that full-time. I want to become a full-time therapist. You can't become a full-time therapist unless you do all these other full-time things. So you may as well get good at it. You may as well get good at it. If you want more clients, you've got to do more marketing. If you want to make more money, you've got to get better at sales. Okay, there's no chicken or egg thing here. This is a part of business, regardless whether you're a therapist or a coach. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Just keep in the back of your mind, get a payment at the end of every call, and then avoid any sort of excuses or clients going back onto default. So guys, that's it for this video. Bye for now.